Okay, I have refrained from doing this video for quite some time. Not because I don't think it's important, just because I didn't want to do a knot video. And I get it. I'm not trying to do a knot video. I've had a lot of people ask me, is it important? It's very important. I just try to stay away from things like this. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, everyone wants to do this knot video, and I just don't want to do stuff that everyone else does, right? That's just me. I'm gonna do it for a couple reasons. One is my ego's not gonna get in the way. My ego tries not to get in the way of all this fishing stuff. I try to let y'all know what I'm good at, and then things that it's not that I'm not good at, but I don't claim to be this like perfectionist when it comes to certain things, or that I know every single bait out there and how it works and do this knot and do it. Look, I just do what works. I just try to do what works, and what I find that works, I try to share with y'all. Okay, I don't try to find some new technique that I've caught one fish on and share it with y'all. That's not my style, right? I could show y'all 1,000 different tricks and different things and stuff that they're really just for videos, and I think they're a waste of time. So you actually have to tie a knot to fish, right? This is the knot I throw. How about this? You want to talk about ego not getting in the way? I don't even know what it's called. I don't know what the knot's called. Okay? Now, it's going to be for a spinning rod. You want to know why I don't really do knot videos? This. See that? Palomar. Palomar, 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 Palomar. I don't even have to look over there. They're all Palomar knots. I tie a Palomar knot on braid and fluorocarbon. What's on here? Palomar. That's not what we're gonna get into. I'm gonna get into this knot right here. I'm not even gonna say the technical term. I'm just gonna go old school. I'm gonna let everyone in the comments say what they want to say, right? So I'm gonna go, how about this? I need to get rid of that. Good. Okay. Because I knew I had to do that. I knew I had a knot in my line, so I was going to have to retie anyways before I go out there. Connecting knot. That's all we're going to talk about. You're going to be like, what knot do you use? I'm not saying the knot. This is the part that I'm going to interject into the video that I think is important. Do I agree that certain knots are better than others for certain things? In the sense of, for like certain line? Maybe. Or technically, yes. They've done studies, Sunline has done studies that shows certain knots are better than others. Do I tie those knots? No. Why? I don't know. I don't really have problems with knots failing when I tie my Palomar knot. If the line breaks, it's rarely ever at the knot. So it's never a knot tying issue. This, however, can be. And let me explain why. The knot I tie, and I'm not gonna lie, where I got it from, I got it off of YouTube. I got it off of Brent Ayler doing a knot. I was not very good at it at first. I'm not gonna lie. Where's my 12 pound? So, and that's the part I want to talk about. This is the knot I use. I have tremendous amount of success with it now. Okay, I don't lose. I go all day long. I don't think I retied. I probably caught 40 with this knot. Okay, I'm showing y'all a couple right now. A couple hook sets all day long. I retie every once in a while if I break off. I'm throwing 12-pound Overwatch braid. I do like that braid from Sunline with 12-pound shooter or sniper for my leader. Tons and tons of hook sets. I eventually probably do break off because I'm out there fun fishing and I don't care about retying. And should I catch 30 of them in a row without retying? No. Especially not when they're eating the bait like they do and your leader is continuously rubbing on the mouth of these fish. What do I think is important? I don't even know how to explain this any other way than this. I know how to tie the knot. I now understand the knot to where I rarely mess up on this knot. Messing up on a knot and not tying the right knot the right way is way more important than the actual knot itself. Does that make sense? Like what kind of knot you use, to me, is not as important as you tying it the right way. Now, I'm going to show you really quick how to tie it, but that's not what I think is important. No one talks about this. I've tied this knot so many times, and I've tied it wrong apparently so many times, that I noticed that when I would pull on it and it would break, and I go, I don't understand where I messed up because I concentrate so hard on it. Here's what I'll say, is that when tying a knot, tying it 10, 20, 50, 100 times is not good. Once you've tied it over 100 times, I think that's when you actually start getting good at a knot, at tying it the right way and understanding what it has to do. Now, when you tie a Palomar knot onto anything, no matter what happens, and let me show you all real quick. It's getting a bait that you can see better. If I was going to tie a Palomar knot, go through, in and out, okay? That's how I tie it. So I know that. That's where it sits, like that, okay? So I have my loop, now my two, and I know that when I cross those, I don't need to turn these lines. These lines need to stay together. And what I mean by together is they don't need to be twisted or crossed up. So when I make this right here, they're not crossed up, and my fingers do a certain thing to let them not cross up. So when I get to here, they're not crossed. Everything's legit. So when I come together, it all comes together perfectly, okay? So I have a good strong knot. I've tied a Palomar knot 20,000 times in my life or more. Your fingers and your hands do stuff that, like, I can do it in my with my eyes closed, and I don't even realize that these fingers, not these, but these fingers, this is important, these other fingers are doing stuff. They're holding lines in place. They're doing things that I don't even realize to keep everything in order. That's important, in order. Like they're controlling things. It's very easy to show someone how the line goes through. That's understandable. It needs to go through here, needs to make this twist over and around, things like that. I get that part. That's great. But you can't tie a knot like me. And that's not me saying I'm better than you. That's me saying you probably won't tie the knot exactly like me, just like I won't tie the knot exactly like you. You will do the same movements. Your line will go through the same way, but your fingers won't do the same thing. And that takes time, okay? And time is what you need to tie these knots. A lot of time and a lot of repetition and things like that. And over time, you will start to realize your fingers start to do things. They start to take over in this knot, which I still don't know the name. Y'all will tell me the name. Actually, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what people say this knot is and see how many people say it's two different things. I guarantee people will. I don't know why. I just have a feeling they will. Start with your braid first. I start with my braid on my right-hand side. So this is my right. I don't know what's looking like in the camera. I start with it on my right-hand side. I get about that much extra length, and I hold it like this, okay? And I make a loop with my other line, my fluorocarbon. I start on this side, okay? And I don't know if this is the right way or it needs to be like this. Maybe it needs to be like this. Let's see here. What's crazy, I still use my Sunline bag. This is my Sunline bag. I'll leave a link in the description. This never leaves my boat. I love this thing. That thing's like 6 years old. I'm just gonna throw that out there. All right, let me see if I got a good enough space where y'all can see everything. So I don't want this to twist. I have my line like this. I come through underneath the bottom, okay? Just like that. Right there, make a loop, come up underneath it. It's important where I come up underneath. Since I come up from underneath, I put my middle finger underneath. That tells me that I came this way through this hole. That's important, okay? I try to get about 6 to 8 inches. It's really hard to tell. I just know how much it is. And I start to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go 7 or 8. 7, I'll go 8. When I get to 8, I still have a hold on it. I pinch it right there. Now I go back through. Now for me, it's easier. I learn to use these two, my ring and my pinky, to grab it. Okay, where I still hold it here. I grab it and come back the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I actually use my middle finger more that time. Then I realized that this point right there goes back through that hole. Now, since my finger is facing me, that's the way I came in, and I want to go back through the opposite way, okay? Now, there's your line that's going through there. I can see it. There's that middle line right there. It's in the middle. I want to go above it and through. Now, I've done this so much that I can see that even by looking at it, it's the right way. Okay? Now, as I start to pull, I have noticed that you can pull and you can wet this. But as I pull with my braid first, and it's going to kind of squinch up like that. I go with the tag in, it makes it clean again. I can kind of go back to here. This line, the tag of the fluorocarbon, that won't do anything. So there's 3 lines you can pull. This line, now I've figured this out, this line, and the tagging of the braid. So if I pull that, I can do it all at the same time if I want to. I'm kind of doing it slow to show you all what happens, how neat it's going to get. Okay, and I can kind of go back and forth if I want to. That's why you want a lot of line here to pull from. Hopefully y'all can see that. Nice and clean, okay? So when I pull on it, now I have done this before when I started doing this. When I first started, a lot of times it would come out clean like that and pretty. Okay, and I would pull on it and it would slip through, and I would stare at it going, I did the exact same thing I just did. And I would do it again. Sometimes I might do it 2 or 3 times in a row and it would slip. And I listen, like I said, my ego is not getting in the way of this. I'm just telling you, I'm watching myself do it going, I did nothing wrong. But I'm just telling you, I probably did. And something was wrong, and it would slip. And over time, over, a couple of years of doing this, not hundreds of times, it's weird. I don't know what I did, but it doesn't slip anymore, right? And I'm not saying it always slipped. I could tell. Sometimes I would do it, and it would do it perfectly. I cut the tags off. Okay, so I cut the tag ends off. You have this knot. That's the one I use. It's just amazing to me that when I would do this, like I said, I would be watching so closely and it would slip through, and I go, okay. And I'm just telling you, after all this time, it now never slips. It never messes up. My hands and everything finally have done it so much that there are things that sometimes you mess up on and you don't realize it. You can even watch yourself and you don't realize you're messing it up on. Like sometimes watching it back on video or whatever helps you out. So I'm just letting you know what I think is important, why I'm doing this video. It's not for the knot. It's teaching yourself to do something over and over and over again. And like I had to figure, I don't know how Brent Ehrler does it in the sense of how his hands work. I just know over time, that's how my hands started to formulate its own process on how to do it, which I think is important. And it became normal for my hands to do it. And I think the more normal it gets, the less you make mistakes, even though if you don't even know what those mistakes are. So here's the other thing I do. I take this, okay? How much leader do you get? That's 1. Hold it out like this, around like that. 2, 3, 4. It's not perfect, somewhere around there. Just tie whatever bait I had back on, if I can still see. One of these days I'm not going to be able to do this, but for right now I still can. Like Palomar knot, I almost don't even have to look at it, right? It's just like my hands just take over, right? Comes in every time. When I used to do this, sometimes it would take me 5 minutes to tie that knot. I'm not gonna lie, like it would take that whole process, and I hated having to do it. The reason I have that much leader out is you don't want the leader in any part of this. Okay? You don't want it showing. You want it in the spool. So when you cast, it gets the momentum and it gets to going out there. Does that make sense? So I want it to where that knot, it combines your leader and your main line. You want it in the spool. Okay? So that way when you cast, by the time it comes out, it's all coming out nice and easy. This might be a long line video. I think it's important though. Like I said, is it not important? Yes, to a degree. I think the way you tie it is more important. I'm gonna say it again. Okay, this is what I caught everything on. I could show y'all video after video after video of me catching them that day, the other day. I've talked about this forever. The Hypermag, the Custom Light, loose spinning reel. I love this Pro TI. This is becoming my favorite spinning rod. This Pro TI. I don't know why. It just feels right in my hands all the time. If you want to get the bag, this bag, guys, it's not that expensive. Look, that's what I have in there. I carry this, like when I go fish with fishing partners and stuff like that, this always stays my boat, but I take this on their boat just in case things happen and I want to respool or something happens. This goes with me everywhere. So, Overwatch, 12-pound braid with Sunline Sniper / shooter, 12-pound. I'm throwing 12-pound now for my leader on a lot of things. Man, I don't see it making a difference. It makes a difference in the fact of I don't break off as much. I can get away with doing some more stuff. I can get hung up brush piles and stumps and trees and all kinds of stuff. And just big fish overall in general. I'm catching a lot of big fish down here. I don't think you have to go down 8-pound test line. I seem to get plenty of bites doing it the other way. But wanted to make my first ever knot tying video, not trying to make a knot tying video. How about that? Does that make sense? Probably not. But most of y'all guys that follow me understand that. See y'all.